Today we're going to dive into the world of cinema and explore the top 10 most inspirational movie characters that have motivated and touched the hearts of millions. We're going to discuss their stories, their struggles, and the lessons that we can learn from them. And we're just going to really dive right into this top 10 list. You guys may have a different top 10 list, but we're going to go through my top 10 today.
You ugly mess. Did you forget who I am?
Starting off at number 10 is Optimus Prime. Now, if you're in any way familiar with the Transformers universe, you know that Optimus Prime is the leader of the Autobots. And he leads with kindness, caring, and sacrifice. And he really protects the Autobots and the people that are close to him, including humans. As the leader of the Autobots, Optimus Prime must lead by example, showing how others should follow his example so that they can be better people or Autobots themselves.
What is it you want, Barry? What do you want? You want the moon? Just say the word and I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down. Hey, that's a pretty good idea. I'll give you the moon, Barry.
I'll take it.
Coming in at number 9 is George Bailey from It's a Wonderful Life. Now, George Bailey wanted to see the world. All his childhood, he grew up wanting to be able to travel the world, see new things, and build skyscrapers. However, when his hometown needed his help, he put his personal wants aside and stayed in his hometown to help the community.
What'd you say just a minute ago? They had to wait and save their money before they even thought of a decent home? Wait for what? Until their children grow up and leave them, until they're so old and broken down that you know how long it takes a working man to save $5,000? Just remember this, Mr. Potter, that this rabble you're talking about, they do most of the working and paying and living and dying in this community. Well, is it too much to have them work and pay and live and die in a couple of decent rooms and a bath?
He settles down and gets married, and life is going relatively well for him, besides the fact that he wasn't able to go and do what he had dreamed about as a kid. He still was able to have somewhat a normal life until he suddenly gets faced with trials and struggles, and it's just really, he's at his lowest point, and he begins to think that the world would be better off without him. However, after a visit from his guardian angel, Clarence, George Bailey learns that every single person in the world makes an impact on those around him, even if they don't realize that. And that's a great lesson for people to be inspired by, the fact that they make an impact around the world, even if it's unbeknownst to them.
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Coming in at number 8 is Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Star Wars universe. Obi-Wan has definitely had his share of trials. He is one of the most famous Jedi in the Jedi Order, but he is known by a lot of many different people that are also very popular in the Star Wars universe. But he's gone through a lot of trials. Definitely his master Qui-Gon Jinn dying, and then his apprentice Anakin Skywalker turning to the dark side and turning evil. So just overall, Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's trying his best to be the best Jedi, best person that he could be, while everyone around him is either dying or turning evil. So there's a lot of discouragement, but nevertheless, Obi-Wan Kenobi stands firm to what he believes in, and he doesn't give up on his objective. Anything that he's assigned, he makes sure he does it to the best of his ability. Even if those around him are failing, he knows the importance of him staying to his task.
I know I'm asking a lot. The price of freedom is high. It always has been. And it's a price I'm willing to pay. And if I'm the only one, then so be it. But I'm willing to bet I'm not.
Coming in at number 7 is Captain America from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. All Steve Rogers wanted to do when he was a little over 18 was he wanted to serve his country in World War II. He consistently applied to join the army, and he kept being denied until he finally was accepted. He wouldn't take no for an answer, and Shortly after joining the army, he gets to be a part of a super soldier experiment where he becomes the superhero known as Captain America. Now, Captain America is mostly known for his patriotism and his belief that everyone has the ability to be free. Freedom is one of his most outstanding qualities. So he also is very loyal to his friends, especially Bucky Barnes. No matter what happens, he's always by his friend's side, and he wants to help them in any way that he can. Captain America has some very inspirational speeches, especially in The Winter Soldier. He's just a really good guy and a role model that a lot of people can look up to.
The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Moving in at number 6 is Rocky Balboa from the Rocky series. Now, Rocky Balboa is a boxer by profession, and whenever in a boxing match, you usually go until you either get knocked out or you surrender and let the other guy win. However, no matter how much Rocky Balboa gets beaten up, he always stands right back up and continues fighting until he has nothing left to fight for. The determination that Rocky has is very inspiring for viewers to see, as they realize that you can never give up. Always make sure that you do your best. Push for your goals, even if there's trials and struggles. Do not give up on them.
Do you want a chocolate? I could eat about 1.5 million of these. My mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get.
Coming in at number 5 is Forrest Gump from the movie with the same name. And Forrest Gump is very similar to George Bailey. He lives a very simple life. He had braces on his legs when he was younger. But as he grows older, he's able to not have to have them anymore, and he runs, and that's all he really does. He loves to run. Run, Forrest, run is the most popular line from that film. But if you watch the film, you'll see that Forrest Gump is much more than that. He has a love interest named Jenny, and she basically tells him that he should run away from his problems, especially when he's in the Vietnam War.
Run, Forrest! Run away! Hurry! Get the bikes! Hurry up! Let's get it! Come on! Look out, Johnny! Here we come! Get you! Run, Forrest! Run!
But instead, Forrest Gump uses his abilities to run very fast to help save some of his fellow soldiers in the Vietnam War. He saves lives, which gets him a presidential medal. It's really interesting to see, especially when you also see the other side of him, which is his kindness, his loyalty to Jenny. Even if she constantly is ditching him, he stays loyal to her.
I will never forget these words. With great power comes great responsibility. This is my gift, my curse. Who am I? I'm Spider-Man.
And number 4 is Spider-Man from the Tobey Maguire series. You could put any Spider-Man in here. I just chose Tobey Maguire because he's my favorite. But nobody knows who Peter Parker was. To his classmates, Peter was just the awkward nerd who knew a little too much but was socially awkward. But after being bitten by a genetically enhanced spider, Peter's entire life began to change. He began to develop the powers of the spider. He could climb up walls, shoot webs, have a spidey sense. But as soon as he gets these powers, he has an opportunity here. He has many different paths he can take with his power. He can use the powers to make money for himself. He can use them to join the Green Goblin and take over New York City. Or he can use them to protect the people of New York City. He chooses the last one and dons the suit as Spider-Man, and one of the most important things that his uncle teaches him is with great power comes great responsibility. And Peter really feels that because he needs to make sure that even though he's got all this power, he wants to make sure that he's using it responsibly.
Wait. You could die. At least tell me your name.
It's not who I am underneath, but what I do that defines me.
Number 3 is Batman from the Dark Knight series. Bruce Wayne's life took a turn for the worst when both of his parents were murdered in front of his own eyes. And since then, Bruce Wayne has lived a very different life. Despite having all the money in the world, he wants to make a difference. He wants to fix Gotham City. He wants to get it to its former glory when his parents were still alive. So he dons the mask of Batman, and he becomes this vigilante who goes around and he takes care of the crime, but he doesn't kill anyone. That's his one rule, which is a really good rule to have. He does not believe in murder, so really good for a vigilante to have that rule. However, he also wants Batman to be a symbol.
The idea was to be a symbol. Batman could be anybody.
He does not want to take credit himself for cleaning up the streets. He wants to have people believe that Batman could be anybody. He just wants to do his community a favor, and people can really resonate with that because they can also make their community better, not necessarily by going in and beating up crime, but they can help in other ways make their community a better place without having to take credit for it, which I think is a really great lesson.
You can take away my house, all my tricks and toys. One thing you can't take away, I am Iron Man.
If you move over to number 2, we have Iron Man from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, Tony Stark has everything in the world that he could possibly want. He's really brilliant, he's got a great girlfriend, and he's got everything going really well for him. However, after being captured by terrorists, everything changes for him. He realizes that his company's weapons are being used to kill hundreds of people, and he wants to stop that. So he creates himself an Iron Man suit, and he goes and battles these terrorists. And despite that being really good itself, Tony's story goes much further than just being Iron Man. If you watch Iron Man 3, you see that Tony realizes that he's much more. He's got a lovely Pepper Potts that he takes care of, and he's got other people in his life like James Rhodes that he's got friends, he's got family, and being Iron Man isn't everything that he is. He's more than that, which is really weird to see. In Avengers Endgame, Tony Stark has to give his life to defeat Thanos so that the world can go on living. So it's the sacrifices that Tony Stark makes by leaving his daughter, his wife, his friends behind, it's such monumental. It is probably going to be talked about in the MCU for as long as it's the run of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is because it was such a crucial moment in that universe. And now for the coveted first spot is Darth Vader, surprisingly. Despite being a villain, Anakin Skywalker was born a slave, and very quickly his life changed when he was taken in to learn to be a Jedi. And he was one of the best Jedis. He was a great warrior throughout the Clone Wars. However, as a young adult, he let his emotions get the better of him, and he was tempted into the dark side, which is when he changed to become Darth Vader. And he would kill anyone in his sight. He was very evil. So you would wonder why Darth Vader is one of the most inspirational characters on this list. But if you think about it, in The Return of the Jedi, Luke Skywalker finally confronts his father, and as Darth Vader watches his son defy all the temptations that he had fallen for, he realizes that it's not too late to be good. At the end of his life, Darth Vader kills the Emperor, and he does the right thing, and he says and Luke says he's got to save his father. He knows he's turned. He wants to save him, but Darth Vader, with his dying breath, says, "You've already saved me."
Leave me? No, you're coming with me. I'll not leave you here. I've got to save you.
You already have.
Which tells audiences, no matter how far you've gone down hill, and no matter how much you've fallen off the path, it's never too late to take the right step in the right direction.